Lucy Kowalik, and I am 32 years old.
My name is Dave. I am. You really want our ages? 47.
I'm Jazz and I'm 47 too.
Well, I think you're 47 and I'm 48 then.
Yeah.
I think that sounds more like it.
Yeah.
Maybe 48 this year. Or next year, I don't know. I can't remember.
The music.
Punk rock.
Yeah.
Just all the
Just the music, really.
chaos of it and the fun of it.
Yeah, we were young, impressionable, you know, sort of
Just want to smash everything up.
early teenagers, you know, and sort of a bit wild, and music and the noise and sort of crazy hairstyles and all that kind of just appealed, really.
Beer.
I guess, do you know what? It's been funny because it's kind of come into my life as an inspiration that wasn't intentional. I mean, I loved Pam Hogg as a designer, and then I respected so much that she was with Susie and the Banshees and Blondie and all these types of things. And the same with Mark Perry. I was really excited about Stiff and Glue, and that was, you know, the first punk magazine and really the most famous music zine of all time. And so that inspired me. And then obviously, I mean, I like the Sex Pistols and the Clash, and of course everyone's going to say that. But it's kind of a fun little world that I've wound up falling into that I didn't have intentions of. That then I find more things along the way that I'm like, oh, actually, I really like this or I really like that. It wasn't so much that I was like, oh, I really love the Sex Pistols. So, but I guess if I was going to say people that I would have loved, then I would say, of course, The Damned or Alternative TV or Sex Pistols or the Clash.
I definitely did then, you know. I kind of think if we're honest, we kind of started off a bit, not like cartoon punk, but do you know what I mean? We had that look that everyone else had, and then we kind of...
Well, you did.
You did as well. But I think very quickly we kind of got out of that, you know, everyone had a Mohican and all that kind of thing. We kind of just went a bit more, I don't know, you know, in our anarcho stuff, we just kind of dropped all that, didn't
we
we?
did change, because when punk came out, it was like, when we got into punk, it was like GBH and Discharge and like just end the first generation punk, and then suddenly it changes into anarcho punk, and then like we all heard of Crass and that was it basically.
Yeah, it kind of all went.
That's what I think we learned about each other as well, because like, we were all growing up, so then we all turned vegetarian at 14, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then we started taking on sort of like other issues, like close at hand issues, like with this area.
Yeah.
How long have you known each other?
Since we were about 7. So yeah, a long time. But no,
I've known you longer than your missus.
Oh, I know. It's funny, isn't it? You know me longer than most people, Dave, to be honest.
You know me better than probably some other people as well,
but I think though that we've always been into the sort of politics of it, if you know what I mean. Punk's very political, and like we were sort of politicised, if you know what I mean, by the bands we were following very quickly, and we kind of all stuck with it. You know, like Dave said about being veggie, like we're still veggie now. You know, all our songs have a political slant about, you know, things we believe in. So, you know, maybe we don't dress particularly punky now, but you know, for us, it's all what's inside your head, not necessarily how you look.
You know, it's a tough question because you ask a lot of people and everybody's got a different opinion, especially people from that time. I think the thing that's changed most about music and about punk or any of the British music scene is that it's going to be hard. You're going to be hard pressed to find those bands again. You know, the Ramones and Menace and all these bands that were starting at that time. They were, you know, Black Flag, stuff like that. They were epitomizing that time. You know, so you're not going to be in the same place, you know, of the Clash playing at the ICA or something like that again. But that's not to say that new bands don't have the same attitude or the same, you know, ferociousness that those bands had nowadays. So I think it's just only changed the history of what you had then versus maybe the new people that are coming up now. But you never know who's going to come out, right?
there's a lot of older people in it now. It's less aggressive, honest.
Younger people in it now, which
Yeah.
is really cool. A whole mixture of ages, which is really cool, which you didn't see like when first sort of second generation punk.
Yeah, in some ways.
No one would mix for like olders, or like youngers only, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot more violent back then.
More
wasn't it?
violence back then, less
Yeah.
violence now.
Less violence now. It's kind of more eclectic in some ways, but in some ways it isn't. I mean, like, sort of punk's gone into things like sort of ska punk and sort of
Rock.
yeah, and stuff like that. When punk first started, it wasn't really kind of quite. All the original bands are very different, but then it kind of got very pigeonholed very quickly. Like everyone kind of sounded like Discharge, like saying, all trying to out discharge, if you know what I mean. But it's quite eclectic still.
doing
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Quite varied, really. So some of it's a load of shit, and some of it's quite good. I'm not really sure if that's helpful or not. Does seem quite diverse. Some of the bands seem a bit nostalgic, and others seem to be a bit more forward thinking, particularly with the politics that they're into. There's still a lot of crap musicianship, but sometimes it's used quite well.
Yeah.
If you see what I
It's
mean.
the only place where you can use it, though, isn't it? Really, I suppose.
Yeah, there's some people accidentally stumble on something quite clever musically by complete accident, and that's probably one of the things I like about the punk scene.
See, I thought when I went to this Virus gig in Bath, and I was like pretty scared. I was terrified because everyone like had massive Mohicans and like these massive boots, and I was like, oh my god, someone's going to beat me up. But actually getting to sort of know it.
Yeah,
like,
it is always
wow.
really friendly.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met anybody that's like.
It's not as it's so much more friendly than you stereotypically expect it to be.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Those that sort of engage with it do. Yeah, I mean,
Look at the old hat.
yeah, the kids on the maybe the kids who are exposed to it and get into it definitely.
I think it's more so now. Don't you?
Some ways, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more into it, and more youngsters sort of like trying to push gigs and venues, and getting things started. It's good to see.
No, I don't think it's changed very much at all. It's still very political. They obviously sing about a lot of the same things as we do. They're all right into environmental issues. They're all into
Issues
animal
that are
rights.
important should be talked about and sung about.
Yeah, it's very it's big anti-fascist, big
Even more so now, really, because the Tory government's in it again.
yeah.
Come back to haunt us. These time it, these
Yeah,
lot are
Tories are
like
good for
fucking
punk
worse,
rock.
mate. You've got to be well on your guard, right? Suss them out.
Yeah,
Fight
they're
Anyway,
nothing's changed in what all the bands sing about. Everyone's still very, very political.
I think they feel the same. Like I said, my experience interviewing them is I think they feel the same. I think they feel that the punk as a term was of this scene, of that time.
Yeah.
But they might not say, okay, punk music exists. They would say we're from the punk movement or from the punk time. And it's there's still people because I said this in a recent interview is that sometimes they might say like Mark Perry said this in our interview that they might say Green Day is punk. It's different. What you classify nowadays is what there used to be. So I don't know how they feel about it now.
Oh, well, if you're like us, we embrace it. We're really good friends with a band called 51st State, who are young. They're only about 21. They're from in Ilminster. We do loads of gigs with them. We put on gigs, and they come and play, or they put on gigs and we go and play. And we just encourage them, really, don't we?
it's a lovely scene, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's some really lovely punks and punkettes out there, mate. Now,
Yeah.
really, it's more like a family now than I think it has always been. It's really good. It's really
Yeah.
good. There's some real brotherly sisterlyhood going on.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't matter about your age, you know what I mean? That's the good thing
Age
about
is-
it.
age
That's
is
why
important now,
I love
yeah.
it more now, because it's more open to all the age group. Right, yeah?
I don't know. I think they're finding it difficult to view me as any different because my hair's receding and all that. I'm almost one of them now.
Depends what you define as dead and punk, isn't it? If you're looking for people that are still into the music and still political, then no, because you'll never kill the last punk rocker.
I think, I don't think it is.
But in a commercial sense of music in the charts, or not even in the charts, or mainstream exposure, then punk probably is dead. But I would say punk is actually sort of went underground in sort of, I don't know, 1979, 1980, and has always stayed there really, and not gone away. There's always been a punk scene all through the 80s and 90s and stuff, when most people thought, what's punk rock?
Well, really, it was like Nirvana, Green Day, Rage. Well, no, Rage.
But they sort of made
they kept it going. It's just the spirit,
They kind of popularised sort of punk,
like a
punk rock again, really. Yeah.
That's the thing, is it's hard because you think, what are you fighting against? And there is, of course, things, but at that time it was that braveness and that kind of, wildness that doesn't really exist anymore. And I mean, when you see kids on the high street, selling their picture for £1 to get your picture taken with the punks, that's when you think, oh fuck, it's definitely over. When this is happening. But then, if you see somebody like yourself and new people that are interested in it and new people that are, trying new things, and that's what a lot of these people have said as I've found out more and more about the scene, is it was about experimenting, it was about not being afraid, and it was about, putting your own take on anything and not giving a shit whether or not you were going to sell 1 million albums or whether or not you were even going to have anybody turn up to the gig. It was about being experimental. So I think that's still alive. The attitude, I think, is still alive.
Definitely not, no.
As long as we can keep going, it won't be dead.
It's more like a really itchy spot or something like that. It might not be obvious to everyone, but it's really
Wow.
If you're aware of it, it's not going away.